Welcome back. Many home buyers are holding off on buying a property for two reasons. One, they're waiting for housing prices to drop. Two, they're waiting for mortgage rates to go down. Today, we'll be talking about how this trend is impacting the real estate market in the greater Seattle area. Also, as a property owner or potential buyer, how can you use this information to win in this market? With no further ado, let's start today's Seattle real estate update for October 2023. Hi, if you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is TC Wu. My bio includes being a real estate broker and investor for 20 plus years. I'm a state licensed real estate instructor. I'm a developer and partner at a real estate brokerage and property management company in Seattle. According to the latest data published by the Realtor Association, only 27% of transactions happening today are by the first-time home buyers. And typically that ratio is about 40%. I think this data is really telling for three important trends that are happening right now. First, we are definitely in an unaffordability crisis where home ownership is getting more and more out of reach for the everyday buyer. Second, the inflation and rising costs of living are making it harder and harder for people to save that down payment, which is so important to buy their first home. Hence, this problem raises the barrier of entry to home ownership. Third, despite strong employment numbers, home prices have been rising way faster than wages. And this is why the buyers that are able to purchase home today are more the move up or the downsize buyers, because those buyers already own properties and they are able to leverage their equity into their next home. And the latest multiple listing data for the greater Seattle area is also telling the similar story. Take a look. We currently have only 1.9 months of inventory available, but it's been trending upwards since the beginning of this year. Since a balanced market is between 4 to 6 months, we're technically still in a seller's market. But buyers today have become much more selective and cautious compared to before. And I think one thing that's very interesting here is that despite inventory trending upwards, there hasn't been enough movement to cause the home prices to shift. As you can see here, the median home price has gone up by $133,000 since the beginning of this year. But once we reach June, the prices have essentially gone flat. It have not gone down, but it's basically flattened out. As I always say, the number one saving grace from a real estate crash is low inventory. 2023 has been a very unusual year for the greater Seattle real estate market because our new inventory in the summer months had never even come close to the same time in the previous years. For example, over the past 3 years, we have been getting about 3,000 to 3,800 homes for sale on a monthly basis in the summer. But this year, we have only between 2,000 to 27 homes entering the market each month. In other words, we have been getting about 30% less inventory than historical levels. And this is exactly why, even though the drastic increase in interest rates has essentially reduced the demand greatly, the dip in the available homes for sale have been tipping the balance back and allow the home prices to remain strong. Finally, the average interest rate for 30-year fixed mortgage is now pushing towards 8% per Mortgage News Daily. In the short run, it's likely the rates will continue to go up and we may see A+ mortgage rates soon. And this is why. Currently, the US inflation is sitting at 3.7%, which is a drastic improvement from last year when the inflation rate was peaking at 9.1% in June. However, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell just announced that the inflation is still too high. Therefore, investors are expecting the Fed to continue to tighten its monetary policy. Meanwhile, yield on a 10-year Treasury note shot up to almost 5%. And if you've been following this channel, mortgage rates strongly correlates with the yield on the 10-year Treasury because investors use the yield on the 10-year Treasury as the benchmark for other forms of investments, such as mortgage-backed securities, which in turn determines the mortgage rates. My advice for sellers is that if you need to sell within the next 12 months and are waiting for the condition to improve, I would recommend selling sooner versus later. The reason is that we still have very limited inventory, which is the biggest driver upholding the current housing prices. However, the supply has been trending upwards since February of this year. And at the same time, the Fed is projected to continue to soften the demand until inflation is more under control. Therefore, the condition may not be better for sellers next year. If you're a buyer in today's market, although everyone is saying that interest rates are going to go down and you can always buy now and refinance later, my advice for you is to be prepared to not have that interest rate go down that quickly. Also, if you're not planning to keep the property for that long, no matter what you do not buy a property simply because the fear of missing out. However, if you're specifically looking for a new construction, just keep in that you're likely to not have as many choices because there's not as much in the pipeline. As always, thank you so much for watching. Hope you find the information helpful. Please contact me with any real estate questions. Please subscribe to this channel so you can receive our weekly 1-minute updates. I wish you well, I wish your family well, and I look forward to seeing you next time.